More than $540 billion flow from workers in developed nations like the U.S. to low and middle income countries in the form of remittances. For families around the world, especially in Central America, receiving money transfers from relatives in the U.S. provides a critical line of support. And with a large immigrant population, Chicago has been a significant source of these money transfers. At first glance, one might have thought the pandemic would have caused remittances to go down, but it turns out that isn't the case. And joining us to discuss what role remittances play during a crisis like COVID-19 and more are Ambassador Reina Torres Mendivil, Consul General of Mexico in Chicago, and Elizabeth Molina, manager at Charlie's Grocery and Money Services. Welcome both of you to Chicago tonight. And Elizabeth, I'll start with you. From your vantage point, obviously the migrant workers have been doing this for years. They'll take a portion of their paycheck and they'll send it home to perhaps their country of origin where they have family members. So how did COVID-19 impact that?
Yes, of course. At the beginning of the pandemic, we thought we were going to see a decrease in the amount of money transfers that were sent over, but to our surprise, it actually went up because, of course, the pandemic is affecting the whole world. So our customers have been sending over to help their family for funeral expenses, for hospitals, and just in general, even for construction purposes.
And Reina Torres Mendivil, conceivably, if you have more workers out of a job, that would mean less money to send back in the form of remittances. What do you think the factors are in the increase in remittances, especially to places in Central America?
I think it's an enormous sense of solidarity. It's a tradition for our migrant families that reside in the U.S. To help their families in Mexico. Mostly, perhaps their children or the elderly remain in Mexico. So as they've been hit by the pandemic in Mexico, the families here, the relatives here, made an extra effort to send resources to help those persons that stay back home.
Elizabeth Molina, how many workers typically do send money back as remittance, and how much of a typical paycheck might that be?
To be honest with you, I can't give you an exact number of how many of our customers an actual amount, but I can tell you that the amount they send can range anywhere from $100 to $3,000 at once. So there's definitely, it can be from very small amounts to bigger amounts, but the main thing here is that they're sending money because they care about the relative. So even if it's a small amount, they're still sending money.
And Reina Torres, I think according to the World Bank, it's about $40 billion out of the U.S. in the form of remittances all around the world. But because there's a large number of migrants from Central America, we'd assume a lot of that does go to that region and to Mexico. How important is that money, not only to families in those countries, but to the economy of those countries?
Actually, yeah, those 40 billions were sent from the U.S. to Mexico. That was reported by the Mexican financial authorities last year, and there was an 11% increase in 2020 compared to 2019. What we have seen so far for 2021 is that we will have a record number of remittances, actually with a higher increase that could go up to 29 billion US dollars sent to Mexico in 2021.
And I'm sorry, so I had that incorrect. So it's $40 billion to Mexico. So, Ambassador, I'll stay with you. What does that mean for the economy of Mexico?
Well, that represents 3.8% of our GDP. That's a huge amount of resources sent to the families. That even it goes directly to private consumption. It represents a lot in the economy. That the amount of remittances that we receive just come after manufacture exports to the world, and actually it comes first before tourism and oil exports.
So it's a significant portion. Elizabeth Molina, what are the barriers here in terms of sending money back to a country like Mexico?
To start, a lot of customers can't send money over many times because their ID might be expired. They don't have an ID or they don't have a valid ID to send higher amounts of money. And during the pandemic, a lot of them have seen the barrier of maybe losing a job, so they're not able to send the usual amount that they would send in the past. So instead of sending the normal $2,000, they're now sending $1,000. It depends per person, but those are the barriers that I've been seeing recently.
And Ambassador Torres Mendivil, What do places like the consulate, the Mexican consulate, do to sort of help assist some of that money going back to Mexico?
Actually, precisely because of this situation and these reasons that Elizabeth just mentioned, we have a specific area in the consulate that is dedicated to financial education and to promote financial inclusion. We know that one of the issues here on this side, is that perhaps people don't know how to navigate the banking system, or they don't know how to make a transfer, or they don't know how to use other financial resources to help their families in Mexico. And on the other side, on the Mexican side, it's complicated because in remote places, perhaps there are not enough branches of the banks or the financial institutions where they are trying to send the money through. So that's a challenge. But part of our mission, as I mentioned, is to educate our community on the opportunities that the banking system and the financial institutions provide for them here. And we partner with the Resurrection Project, actually, in this endeavor with what we call our financial education booth. So anybody that comes to the consulate can go and talk to our good friends and allies from the Resurrection Project and receive information on this issue.
A Resurrection Project, a local nonprofit, and of course an issue that probably impacts a significant portion of our community. And our thanks to Ambassador Reina Torres Mendivil and Elizabeth Molina.
Thank you.